be.
And I have to jump off at 10 if that's okay.
Oh, yes, totally. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Okay, so I guess just talk about your career as a rugby player, how you got into the sport, what you love about it, and then how you felt when you heard you were going to the Olympics.
Okay, so my name's Naya Tapper. I've been playing rugby for the national team professionally for 5 years now. I started playing in college at UNC Chapel Hill. They had a club team there, and I had kind of went into college just wanting to focus on academics and enjoying my life as a college student because I had been fully committed to track and field in middle school and high school. So I kind of missed out on certain things, and I didn't want that to be the case for college. So I went into college wanting to focus on that. But then, doing sports your whole life, I kind of started missing it. And I seen that they had a club rugby team, and I always loved contact sports. I was a pretty aggressive child growing up. And I had heard about it in high school, but didn't have a chance to take up the opportunity. But in college, I did. So I went and tried out and made the team and played there for 4 years. Did a great job, learned so much about the sport and about the culture, which is one of the things I love the most about the sport. Um, I came to the training center to be a full-time resident in January 2016. I played with them for about 4 months, then ended up getting cut from the team. After about another 4 months of training extra hard to make sure I had the skills, not just the physicality to be here, they ended up bringing me back. And then I kind of had my big debut in Sydney, Australia in 2017. And that's kind of where I marked my name and who I was in the rugby world. And then my life in rugby and my career in rugby has just been rocketing since then. And now today I can say I'm officially going to my first Olympics in Tokyo for 2021. I'm super excited, super proud. It's been a long journey to get here. I did miss out on the 2016 Rio Olympics, so I'm really happy now to be able to say that I'm going to be an Olympian in about 2 weeks.
And you said that you were initially cut from the team. Talk about how you were able to overcome that and become stronger and eventually become an Olympian. How would you, for other athletes who feel discouraged, what would you say to them?
Mhm. For me, growing up in sports, it always came easily. I would feel like I was naturally talented, and anything I picked up, I ended up being good at. And that was a situation with rugby as well in college. But when I got to the professional level, I learned really fast that you can't only be big and fast, you also have to know how to do the skills in order to be successful at this level. I wasn't a great catcher because I had never done a sport that required me to have hand-eye coordination. I wasn't a good passer. If I could do anything good, it was run. And my coach at that time was like, that's not enough, but I see the potential in you. So I'm going to put you in an academy for you to get better. And if you get better, we'll rock and roll with it. And if not, this will be the end of your career as a rugby player with the national team at least. And when I first heard that news, never having dealt with adversity, especially in sports, I was ready to just be like, okay, like this is supposed to just be something fun anyway. I wasn't trying to be a professional athlete. I wasn't trying to be a professional rugby player. So I really was just ready to let it all go and just head back to North Carolina, um, continue my quote unquote plan A of just being a physical therapist. But I talked to my parents and they're like, no, you can't leave. Like, you have to see this through. I think in hindsight, they knew like there's going to be a moment she's going to have to deal with adversity, and we're going to have to be here to push her through that. And that's exactly what they did. I was waking up at 4 a.m. to go train, going back home, sleeping, and then going to work at Buffalo Wild Wings for 8-hour shifts, and doing that over and over again every day for about 4 months. And it finally paid out to where the coach that had let me go ended up bringing me back, and I stayed with him for a while on the team before he left. But the one lesson I learned from that is that adversity usually leads to you hitting another level in your life in a positive way if you take up the challenge. Everything's not going to be easy. Everything's not going to be handed to you. So whenever you're faced with a mountain, go for it, climb it, because I promise you it'll be worth it on the other side.
Awesome. And then my last question for you is rugby is a team sport. So
Hmm.
how exciting is it to be on a team sport and have all of the other women with you and everyone on that team is going together to the Olympics, whereas some sports are solo events, solo sports.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that's one thing I had to actually get used to because I had been running track and field so long where I think that sport is more seen as an individual sport. So the outcome of my success only depended on me. And when I got to rugby at the professional level and was on a team, the outcome didn't only depend on me. You know, whether I did had the greatest game or not, if my teammates didn't, and that could mean we lost and vice versa. So I think that was something that was really hard for me to get used to was being able to depend on other people for an outcome. But one thing I learned from that is how to become more of a people person, how to interact with different types of people, whether it's a different race, a different culture, a different language, just being able to have an open mind to how other people have grown up and how they communicate and work and push themselves and motivate themselves. I think I've learned so much from all my teammates because of how different they are. Um, I didn't really eat healthy when I came here, but a lot of my teammates taught me that stuff. I didn't communicate well in tense conversations, but my teammates taught me how to do better in that. So I learned a lot of things from them um, going into this journey, and I'm sure I'll continue learning things through the Olympics and after. But I'm super excited to be able to depend on super amazing women and to be somebody that they can depend on as well. I think we all have allowed each other to grow and blossom into beautiful people, and that will carry that on through the rest of our lives. And I think that's the great thing about rugby is that it creates people like us.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. That was perfect. Well, thank you. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. And I appreciate it and good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.